So, before I get started, I do want to introduce my family. This is my wife, Kimberly, our oldest son, Jackson, our middle son, Mariner, and our youngest daughter, Evelyn. And we actually, for those of you who don't know yet, we have a fourth on the way. So the Svaty family continues to expand, and we actually celebrated our 10th anniversary on Friday. So these have been busy days for us. And I wanted to start by saying that I started almost 20 years ago working on the grain dock here during the harvest shift at the Black Wolf elevator. That was actually the first job I'd ever had off of the farm. And I was under the wise tutelage of Leon Rodriguez, who I'm proud to say is here today with us. And I loved that job. I loved it. I loved it because it was an exciting time for harvest. I loved it because I had an interest in seeing a different side of the grain trade. But I also loved it because of the people that I got to see bring their wheat in every single day during harvest. I don't have to tell those of you that are from the Black Wolf area that the people that live in the hills around Black Wolf are a unique bunch. They are characters each and unto themselves. A lot of them are my family, but even the ones that aren't my family, I came to appreciate and to enjoy over those harvest seasons. The poet Wendell Berry gave a speech once entitled, "It All Turns on Affection." And for me, my affection for the people of the state of Kansas and for the state itself started right here. Now, I know for most of you, Black Wolf looks like a classic ghost town. You can't see it over there. There used to be a bank where there's a pile of rubble. Behind you used to be a few more buildings. I think there was a barn in Alex Vodraska's field there. There was a bigger barn across the river where they used to have dances. And even the forms that were used to build this elevator in 1958 turned into the rafters on the machine shed on our farm. And I got to tell you, that machine shed doesn't even look that good. Things have fallen so much. But when we talk about an iconic ghost town, it's unfair to compare the situation of Black Wolf to the situation the state faces as it sits on the edge of a precipice. It's not as simple as pulling up and moving to the nearest county seat. We, the people, Kansans, are our government. And if we want to fix it, we must do it ourselves. And there is no other alternative. I know that you can sense that Kansas is at a crossroads. I know that for some of us, it feels a little bit like the decisions that we faced in statehood, where we could either choose the path of least resistance and short-term gain, or we could defy convention and become a state that was a beacon for freedom. The election in 2018 will be a referendum on that decision. We know it won't be easy. Kansans are feeling the unending series of failures coming out of Topeka. It is a steady stream of bad news and economic woes. Our schools are under stress. Our hospitals are closing. Our highways are in disrepair. Our mental health services are being shuttered. Our disability community is being completely ignored. We have to fix the problem. We can no longer be a petri dish for economic theory. We can no longer sacrifice the future of our children or the future viability of this state. I know when people see Black Wolf, they see a ghost town. But what I see is the same thing that I see in so many other communities and forgotten places around Kansas. This is a valley of dry bones, and it's ready for a breath of new life. Kansans are ready to fix this mess. Kansans are ready to restore the stability and the progress that our founders envisioned and that we maintained for over a century and a half. We can do this together. and we need a governor that can and will lead this rebirth. Now, some of you are probably saying, how do you plan on doing this and winning in 2018? And I can assure you, we will employ the best technology, build the best campaign, raise the most money, and reach the most voters of any candidate. But I want you to look around at the crowd that's assembled today. You are all here solely by word of mouth. I still believe word of mouth is one of the strongest foundations that we have as Kansans. And I believe it is not by accident. On my father's side alone, only out to second cousins, we have family in 34 Kansas counties. That is almost a third of the state. When my mom was growing up in Wichita, before my grandfather sold the grocery store to re-enter the ministry, ultimately receiving the call to come to Ellsworth, she had 55 first cousins in Sedgwick County alone. My wife, Kimberly, is a third-generation Johnson Countyan, but her family has been in the Kansas City area since long before Kansas was ever a state. My family is Kansas. We believe in Kansas, and we continue to grow our family here. And I believe those qualities matter. I also believe another important quality that matters to Kansans is that we do not quit. My family has been farming in this county for over 150 years, and we have seen ups and downs. My wife Kimberly and I formed our own farm here in 2010, and I'm still waiting for the ups. It's been mostly downs. But like the rest of my family, we do not quit, and we do not leave the state, and we do not blame others for our tough times. The time for finger pointing in Topeka is over. The journey to reclaim the state begins today. And I know that I have the skills, the deliberative, reasonable voice, the strong experience, and the steady leadership to make that happen. And that's why I'm asking you today for your support and ultimately for your vote. Ad astra per aspera.